I decided to choose Good Sam. I had heard that it was the best hospital in the area to have a baby at. Little did I know how much I would need Good Sam as far as their NICU and just everything else later on in this pregnancy journey. I had a healthy pregnancy. Everything looked good until the 20-week ultrasound. I remember them saying, he's too small. And, they tried to not say much, but those words echoed in my head. You just don't want to hear that anything's wrong with your baby. The MFM told me that my son at 24 weeks was the size of an 18-weeker, and that everything was fine with his heart. The umbilical artery, there was just one umbilical artery. Apparently there's supposed to be two. They asked me, do you want us to do everything possible to save your baby? And of course, as a mom, I was like, yeah, of course I do. And they're like, okay, well then you need to be admitted right now. And that was shocking to me. I was terrified. The nurses, though, were so kind, and they hooked me up to the monitors. They made me feel kind of the most comfort than were the nurses at a time that just felt so uncertain. They really thought that they were going to have to take my son then at 24 weeks, that he would have to be born then. And so she told me the chances of survival for him were only 30%, and that if he survived, he would have life-debilitating disabilities, most likely 90% chance. So I took 24 hours to think about it. And I said, of course, you're gonna do everything possible to save my kid. I ended up spending 10 weeks in the hospital at Good Sam before I had my son. Those nurses on the 9th floor, as well as the MFMs, truly saved my sanity for those 10 weeks while I was on bed rest. That little 24-weeker that they thought would have to be born then was born at 34 weeks. He only weighed 2 pounds, 6 ounces at birth. Then I got to meet the NICU nurses. Those NICU nurses were pretty incredible. My son ended up actually having to be on oxygen. For a while when he was on the NICU, he was just on oxygen. That was like the only thing that was keeping him in the NICU at this point. We had been in the NICU at this point for about 6 weeks. I remember the NICU nurse just sort of shaking her head at the doctor, and then she came over to me, she talked to me, she said, you know what, you could do this at home. You ask good questions. I know we can get the oxygen, brought to your home, and I know you can take care of this baby on oxygen at home. Would you like to do that? I was like, yeah, I want my baby home. She fought for me and told the doctor, send this baby home. Mom can take care of him at home on oxygen, all of these things. And so I was able to bring little Felix home on oxygen. And they were like the little cheerleaders, you always needed. Those nurses feel like your biggest heroes, and I would love to be able to give back a little bit in that way. It has made me want to be a nurse. So I'm going back to school to be a nurse. I'd love to be a NICU nurse and help other babies and families with that start in life. He's doing great now. He's 7, he's a first grader, and you would never know that he was a preemie. You would never know that he had the start that he had. He really likes bowling. He loves playing Mario. He loves making friends. He loves swimming, loves going off the diving boards. I'm excited to see Felix continue to grow, continue to make friends. And I mean, he's got his whole life ahead of him now, whereas for a while, it was unexpected and we didn't know. So that's really exciting.